David Anderson has become synonymous with global black wealth. Whether he's shaping policies at the World Economic Forum, playing key roles within political circles on both sides, mastering the art of building unshakable wealth on an international scale, or breaking down barriers so that black men around the world can win. David is the world's best kept financial secret weapon. From the ghettos of Southside Chicago to the Obama White House, to the homes of billionaire moguls, David's receipts stretch well beyond million-dollar bank accounts, African royal families, or celebrity inner circles.
But I believe that they did something that all of us can do.
David's true gift is in single-handedly positioning everyday brothers to become global millionaires. Why? Because it's about damn time we own what's ours and have a real seat at the table. Money, power, respect.
I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally from a professional perspective or a personal perspective can be. And I'm ever so grateful.
David Anderson has become synonymous with global black wealth. Whether he's shaping policies at the World Economic Forum, playing key roles within political circles on both sides, mastering the art of building unshakable wealth on an international scale, or breaking down barriers so that black men around the world can win. David is the world's best kept financial secret weapon. From the ghettos of Southside Chicago to the Obama White House, to the homes of billionaire moguls, David's receipts stretch well beyond million-dollar bank accounts, African royal families, or celebrity inner circles.
But I believe that they did something that all of us can do.
David's true gift is in single-handedly positioning everyday brothers to become global millionaires. Why? Because it's about damn time we own what's ours and have a real seat at the table. Money, power, respect.
About 4 years ago, my first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally from a professional perspective or a personal perspective can be, and I'm ever so grateful.
All right, are we live? All right. I know people are coming in. The text just went out. Are we live? Are we live, everybody? Are we live? Yes, I think we are. Can you hear me? All right, we are live. We're talking tonight about how to invest in debt. I know we got some texts as well as the emails going out. Tonight's going to be a simple. Hey, put the screen back. The invest in debt. Put that back if you can for me. Yep, let's do that. And we're going to talk about this tonight, but I just want to make sure we're all prepared. Hold on. Okay. Tonight's going to be good. So I've been hitting a lot of topics lately for those. First off, if you in this boy, real quick, say what's up in the chat. Say hello to our brother Marcus. Welcome, brother. I know I took about a week off. I've been doing some deals of my own, but also some other things I've been doing. You know, God, I tell you, in this game, I'm happy to be on a journey with some of you guys. I get the testimonials, the reports back. And I'm happy to be on a journey with a lot of you guys as you figure out your place and how you're doing this thing in this world as a black man. We're called 1 million black men. What's up, Lawrence? And yeah, I love that part of this. I love the part of this where really it's about us growing together, right? Thriving together. And sometimes as men, we can feel alone in this world and what we're doing. But I'm really excited that, we're together growing, learning, and all that kind of stuff. And thank you guys. Like, I feel the appreciation, the way you guys kind of jump in and people say what's up, they come back and, get back to work. But I want you guys to know I'm in this game 100% as you are, that I'm really in this game. Like I'm not like the dude that's like, hey, I made some money or I did something great and now I'm sitting on the sideline, right? I'm like Deion Sanders, baby. I'm in the game. Like I'm in it, So I'm really excited about tonight because we're going to talk about a topic that I really wanted to hit on. I was thinking about what to go through. I hit a lot of topics because I had a lot of experience, right? Internationally, product, services, everything else. And I don't talk a lot about investments, but tonight I'm going to hit on an area about investing that a lot of people are not very hip to, nor do they understand, right? If you're welcome, guys, please say hello. Say what's up in the chat. If you just got in, say what's up in the chat as we go into this, because we're going to talk about how to invest in debt. And I'm going to get into a couple areas where I think for those that, as you build your wealth and different portfolios, it's important that you understand this. And let me say this. I was with someone this weekend and with someone who they've probably done about welcome Marcus, Brandon, everybody, Dexter, Terrence, welcome. Hello, everybody. Say hello if you guys are coming in. They probably have done in their life, they're in their 60s now. They've done about $1 billion in business. Definitely $1 billion, over $1 billion. They've done probably a couple billion in business as far as revenue in business. And they've probably done, 50 plus $1 million net in their life. Kevin, welcome, Kevin. And we were having this conversation and they were saying how the reality is that as they've done business, they should have taken more money. And they were telling me how, hey, be careful. You want to take more money. And like, as you're making big money, you need to start to invest it in stuff. Because as business people, as entrepreneurs, what we tend to do, and I'm guilty of this, is that we basically go to our strength. What is our strength? Our strength is business. So then we invest in other businesses because we know that. But business, as you guys know, can be tough. It can be risky. A lot of things can happen. You can, somebody who's an operator can get sick or go down or get cheated. A lot of stuff happens in business, and the reason why people fail or succeed, depending, which is why a lot of people don't want to touch entrepreneurship, because they see the risks to it, but there's also the risk and the reward. So I want to talk about an area that's pretty, what I call, simple to invest in. And but not simple, nothing simple to invest in, but it's an area we don't know a lot about. And how do you actually invest in debt, right? How do you invest in debt where you can hold the paper, right? And I'm not talking about real estate. I'm talking about other debt assets, and things that you can do in order to, continue to have wealth long term and to have income. This is an area that a lot of people don't talk about because they don't know about it, right? And so I want to talk about, I want to break down a couple things so you understand debt products first, right? Let me actually take this down real quick. I want to talk about things so you understand debt products. And then what I want to do, as you understand that, I'm going to give you a quick framework tonight, and then over the next couple of nights, we're going to go through this, probably two or three parts to this, and we're going to talk about investing in debt and things that you can do. But I'm going to just start real simple, right? Is debt. I think tonight when the email went out, it talked about being a lender and not the borrower, right? And if you get into Quran context, biblical context, there's a lot of conversation about being the lender and not the borrower, right? Or not being a slave to the lender, or not being all these different things that exist, right? And although lending is good, some people think that, debt is totally bad, like it's bad, right? Completely. And that's not necessarily true, right? Debt can be helpful if you use it for operations and other things, but also you can own debt, and when you own debt, you get a residual and you're getting income, right, from those things that you're lending towards, which can be a very great passive area for your life. So let me get real quick on debt, and I'm going to say what I would call a framework on debt, so you're very clear on it, right? So guys, real quick, if you're ready for tonight, real quick in the chat, put a 100 in the chat real quick. Put a 100 in the chat, 100, because we're going to go through this real quickly here and give you a quick framework. So, okay. For the most part, when we talk about debt and you talk about investing in debt, right, you have to define debt investments from what it actually is, okay? So I'm going to take you to school real quick, right, and what actually this is, so that you can, what I call, make decisions in this area for yourself, and you know what to ask, particularly your financial advisor, right? Now, these are things that I know you may have a financial advisor. These are a lot of things that they won't teach you. Some of them don't know about it, right? And some of them, they don't care to share, right? So it's both and. Some of them don't know about it or really understand it, right? But I want to really talk about this area and very clearly for you, so you can get what I would call very clear, okay? Okay? All right, okay. So here we go. Couple parts of debt that's just very important, and I'm going to break it down for you, right? The first one is that bonds, okay? Okay. Now, bonds, you've probably heard of this before, right? But what is a bond? A bond essentially is another word for a debt obligation, right, that someone's taking out, but usually they take it out in what they call a synchronized way, right, or some type of securitization. Which securitization means that they basically created a financial product. A security is what they use in finance. A security, right, is basically a fancy way of saying they baked a financial cake. They put together a financial product. My team, real quick, put in there, a bond, a security of finance, right? basically put in there if you can for me, security equals, right, a financial product, right? Security equals financial product, right? Just so everyone's clear on that and they know, right? Security equals financial product, okay? Now, what type of bonds are there? And I want to go through this real quick, right? So the first bond that exists are called treasuries, okay? Right? Especially for those in the U.S. Treasury bonds. Those are called, like, essentially the best bonds you can get. Matter of fact, they're so good, they call it risk-free bonds. Okay? Because it's based upon the credit and the ability of the United States. Okay? What's saying that if you don't believe the United States will default, which we have a multi-trillion-dollar economy, if you add up all of that, plus you add up, all the billionaires, everyone that has a vested interest, it's a pretty strong economy. It's a very flexible economy, right, compared to other places around the world. The United States, no matter what you say about it, is a place of capital, right? At the end of the day, this place is a place of capital. Everyone put in the chat real quick, the U.S. is capital. That's what the U.S. is, okay? So in the chat, put the U.S. is capital. If you don't believe me, one of the reasons why a lot of people move to the United States is because of the free-flowing access to capital. I know some of us on here, we don't like credit scores. We don't like to participate in the system. But I got to tell you, the system here allows us, right, to literally, right, create a situation, okay, the system where we get free-flowing capital. So treasuries. Secondly, okay, you have corporate, okay, corporates, okay, corporate bonds, okay, those are next, okay, are corporate bonds, okay. Next are something we call municipal bonds, okay. And then there's something else that you can buy as well, which are mortgage. You guys heard about this through the financial crisis, those that were around. Mortgage-backed securities. Okay? All right? These are essentially, right, debt instruments that you can purchase, that you can go into the market and that you can get, right? Well, you say, how do I get access to these, right? How do you do this? Well, number one is, depending on your bank or your wealth manager, you should be asking them about these products, right? Do you have treasury? With treasuries, you can actually go up publicly. You can Google buy U.S. treasuries and it'll come right up, right? Corporate bonds are different. Corporate bonds, you're going to have to usually get through an investment advisor, right? Because they have corporate debt. So AT&T needs to raise $1 billion. They go out to the market. They go to banks. They go to brokers, hedge funds, and they say, hey, are you willing to buy these bonds? And then these bonds go into their clients' portfolios. Municipal bonds the same way, right? If I know people like, for instance, Charles Schwab, Edward Jones, other on the block financial shops, they have municipal bonds, but you have to ask about these things, okay? And then mortgage-backed securities, a little bit more of a closed space, but you can go into mortgage-backed securities and have access to those usually through your wealth management portfolio, or again, go to your financial advisor and you can find out about these things. Now, tonight I want to get more tactical and talk deeply about an area that a lot of us don't know about and we basically overlook, okay, when it comes to this, right? When it comes to this, essentially, there is something called, and you've heard of this, right? It's called CDs. Now, CDs are what? We only know them usually, they're marketed to us at the bank. And the bank, essentially, okay, the banks, basically what they do is that they say, hey, we're going to give you, like right now, you can put your money in a CD probably for 5% for the year, 7% for the year, or whatever the case is. And banks, they do this because banks, they want your cash. They want to lock up your cash. Let's say it's $20,000. Take your $20,000, but then they're going to take your capital and make money off of your money. So they're going to give you your 5%, give you your 7%, but they're going to make more on that money. Now, I want to talk about different types of CDs because you have the right in your bank to ask the bank for different types of CDs if they offer them. Okay, so I want you to know this. You have a right to ask them for different types of CDs. So you have CDs, you have traditionals, right? Traditionals. What is traditional CD? That's basically when they take your money, they lock it up for a fixed term, and it's a few months or a couple years, and they say, hey, we're going to hold your money for a year, 2 years, and we're going to give you back 10% of your money or 5% of your money. These are very safe. I also want to say this, right? CDs are normally very safe instruments, not high risk instruments, okay? That's what CDs are, okay, for the most part, right? But you also have different other CDs. You have something called, right, high, and please, I want to start these because I want someone to pay attention to this. You have high yield. Sorry. High yield CDs. What does high yield mean? High yield means you're usually offering double, triple the rate. But you can't get this unless you ask for it, right? Hey, I'm looking for high yield CDs. Oh, sir. Well, we actually do have some of those. Now, the high yield, right? You usually are going to have with high yield a higher deposit. Okay? A higher deposit, meaning that if the minimum CD is, let's say, $5,000, these high yields are probably going to be $40,000, $50,000 that they want to lock up of your money. Okay, those are high yield. The other CDs are something called bump up. Okay, these are called bump up CDs. Okay, what are bump up CDs? Bump up CDs is when you request the investor requests a higher rate during the term of the CD if the market rises. So basically what this means is that, right? Okay, bump ups, they follow the market. So you know how inflation has gone up, how interest rates have gone up. So a bump up CD essentially is, right? When you started out, let's say the rate was 5%, right? And now the Fed increases interest rates. Now you should be at 7%, 8%. So along the life of that CD, a bump up CD is a CD where it follows the market. Okay. All right. So you want to ask your bank. Okay. Think. And basically, what does the CD stand for, by the way? It stands for essentially collateralized debt. That's all it really stands for. It's collateralized debt. That's all it stands for. That's what a CD is. It's collateralized debt. Another one, right? Okay, that you want to be careful of, and this has happened to some of you, and you didn't know it, right? Another CD is called a callable. It's called a callable CD. What is a callable CD, right? Well, it's in the name, call. What does that mean? That somebody's able to call, pick up the phone, kind of, right? But basically pull, right, the CD from you. So a lot of us are in CDs, right? Because what happens is that, this is what happens. Let's say the bank is paying you 5-6%, okay? And let's say the Fed now puts interest rates down, or whatever the case is, and they're afraid that they're paying you above what the Fed rate is, they lose money. So then they'll call your CD, and this has happened to some of you, okay? You were out there, and all of a sudden, they ask for your CD. You're like, I'm making good money. What's going on? Because you were in a callable CD, okay? So you were not in there. So what happened, everybody remember Silicon Valley Bank? the whole thing with Silicon Valley Bank and what happened? So what happened was essentially they had bought bonds, right? They had bought bonds, okay? They were not bump up. They didn't follow the market, right? The yield wasn't high enough, okay? And essentially, okay, those bonds was about to be called. And because they were about to be called, right, they basically were about to lose a ton of money, like billions of dollars. And that's what started the Silicon Valley Bank to go under. So basically, they had a bunch of bonds that were like 1-2%. And now interest rates were going up, but the interest they would have to pay was more. And so they had to essentially, they almost went bankrupt, right? And they probably should have gone bankrupt, but obviously we bailed them out, okay? But that's a callable, so be careful. The last one I want to talk to you about is also called a jumbo. Okay? A jumbo CD essentially is when it's you put a large deposit in, right? But you should have a very high interest rate. So you also want to ask the two ones you want to ask for with your bank. You want to ask for the high yield. You want to ask for the bump ups. You want to ask for the jumbos, right? If your bank allows you to. High yields, the bump up CDs, and the jumbo CDs. These are the CDs by where, right? You are in the driver's seat and you have the interest, right? You are in the leverage seat, right? So that you can get the best return on your capital, okay? So please, in this, look, owning debt is a great advantage because debt, like even with businesses, right? In debt, you are the first lien holder usually. So you get a hold to the assets first. Debtors are even more important than stockholders. Stockholders, they get paid last. Debt holders get paid first. Okay, remember that, right? Stockholders get paid last. Put that up there if I can. My back else team. Stockholders get paid last. Debt holders get paid first. Okay, that's a very important thing for you to understand. Okay, and so investing in debt is a great place in an asset, right? They get paid last, not less. Sorry, last. Stockholders get paid last. Debt holders get paid first. Stockholders get paid last. Debt holders get paid first. So one of the things you need to think about, right, is that you should also look at, as a situation for yourself, you should look at what type of portfolio you have when you're looking at this, right? And understanding you should have a mix where there's areas where you get paid last, dividends, right? And there's areas where you get paid first. You have debt, right? And that way you can rightly, right, balance your portfolio in a way that makes sense as you make money in business. So again, this stuff is not super sexy. This is not the stuff that people want to tweet about and Instagram about and share about. But this is the stuff that over time can make you very, very wealthy. Right now, right? I know of CDs right now, right? That doing right now that are making literally, right? 5% monthly. Okay? CDs. Okay? These are off the market, but literally making 5% monthly. So that means if you have $100,000, you're making $5,000 a month without even thinking, like 30 to 45 days. So let's say, whatever you're going to put it, right? But 9 times a year, you can get 5% a month, right? Or some are even higher because right now banks are in a situation where they need cash and they're willing to pay a lot for that cash. They're willing to pay money on that cash, okay? But remember, CDs are very low risk, collateralized debt, right? Usually FDIC insured because they're part of the bank, okay? And so I want you to be aware of this and know this is going on and know what's happening so that you can make strategic decisions as you look at your life and stuff. And again, I hit a lot of different topics, but today I want to talk about the investing in debt. I really like municipal bonds, and I'll tell you why I like them. Because municipal bonds are a space where you usually get a higher rate, right? You get a higher rate, but all the income you make from the municipal bond is tax-free, okay? So it's tax-free money that you usually get from municipal bonds. You just hope that you don't invest in a state or a city that's going bankrupt, okay? You want to get something, but these are very hard to get. When they come out, people hammer for them because it's tax-free income and it's simple income, right, to come to you, okay? So it's good money. Man, with that's going to be tonight. We're going to have a part 2 that comes up, but I wanted tonight to go through everything pretty simple and concise. I didn't want to overwhelm you with too much information tonight, but I wanted you to get a big kind of picture of the bonds and the CDs, right? When we come back, right, I'll get into a whole lot of other things. We'll get into liquidity. We'll get into corporate bonds. We'll get some other details. So, but I wanted to really go into debt investments because I think it's an area that is overlooked, right? You got a lot of people out there, they're selling real estate, own the debt on real estate. And you can do that, right? Real estate debt investment is good, but there's usually like, a 2-3 year wait period. You got to hold the paper for a long time. You don't get a lot of income from it. But at the end of the day, you can end up owning that property. So it can really be a big win for you, right? If you do that. So with that, guys, love this session. I hope you guys loved it too. Put a 100 in the chat if you love the session. Again, we're talking about how to invest in debt, right? It's a very nuanced space. A lot of folks don't talk about it, but how to invest in debt, right? And when you get really sophisticated, you learn how to take debt and use that debt to invest in other debt. So you realize how to take debt, let's say at 20% a year, but you're making 5% a month. So you're going to make 60%, right? While you pay them 20%, and then you make the margin of 40%, right? This is just examples of stuff, right, that you can do once you have debt and what to do with it and how to do it. Man, with that, this has been David Anderson, man. Thank you, everybody, for coming out with 1 million Black men. Look, our goal is to help free us psychologically. Number 2, free us economically and financially. Financially, you get to buy whatever you want. Economically, you own the things that people buy. And the third thing is wealth creation for 7 generations. Again, wealth creation for 7 generations and how to do that strategically and thoughtfully. I hope that these videos are very helpful to you. I hope that your children and your children's children will benefit from this knowledge as a Black person as you continue down this path. But this information is for all people. I'm just talking to my people. And so I appreciate everyone for tuning in. As I always say, guys, as we get ready to do our outro video. Oh, by the way, another shout out. The brother who created the video, 1 million Black men for us, is up for a Grammy. I said we'll probably get some collateral for that. He is up for a Grammy. Kwesi, who does our video for 1 million Black men, our outro video, he's up for a Grammy Award. Okay, up for a Grammy Award. And I'm very proud of him. So happy. This helped spark some other things that he did and created. But he's up for a Grammy Award, so we want to support him. He's Grammy consideration, and then he'll be part of the nomination once he gets past that state. So congratulations, man, being up for the Grammy. We're gonna get a graphic for that real soon next time. So let's remind ourselves, back office, let's create a graphic for Kwesi for the Grammy consideration. But with that, guys, thank you. 100 in the chat. Love you guys. I'll see you at the top. Why? Because we know the bottom is just way too crowded. Peace.
Calling all Black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action, an action call. Calling all Black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action, an action call for 1 million Black men. I am Kwesi to put you on a call path to win. This is not a Zoom call or a call on Facebook Live. Though we are virtual, we are live. Not a call on TikTok like MLB Black men, we are on the clock. Not a call from Snapchat. Move back, my bat. We are on first base to Isaac Hayes Jr. fan base. We have an eye line on third base. Grand Slam, not a call from Instagram, as we don't need validation with blue checks. We are the true checks. We do checks. We write checks. We are the right checks. We do family checks. We check in on our sons and our daughters. We are black men who walks on waters because our children like to FaceTime. We are black men who FaceTime. Let's FaceTime. This is still not a call from an Android or an iPhone. It is extraterrestrial to phone home. I know sometimes black men, we have to travel around the world to be appreciated at home. But you are not alone. You are in the each one, teach one green zone, where the elusive weapon is the truth. We are the black truth. We are Paul Pierce, the truth. We are the loot. We are 1 million black men strong. We will get along as we landline. We walk across their blue and red line. Now this call is from a landline with rotary numbers and a coiled cord. We are 1 million black men on one accord. This cord and phone transmits a dial tone, whether a local call or a call of long distance. Regardless of the distance, it connected us. Social media unconnected us. Our homes need us. They soul feed us. And not just food that give us niggas-itis. I write this, our homes bleed, sweat, tears for us. Black men, it is up to us. It is on us not to just procure the bag. Buddha bless one, share it with me. Get the info under your afro, bro. And establishing sovereignty to be a one united bank for economic just us. Black men, we must set up a family trust to an estate, because right now everything is at stake. Because we can't lead from behind, from your behind to your mind. They are public with their malevolence as they use artificial intelligence in this age of information. Elon Musk bought Twitter to gather more of our information. So if I have to be the Starlink, I will break the Starlink for 1 million black men. But I won't condone our culture with misuse of our information. So I grant you David Anderson for this financial literacy education. DA went from shy Southside streets to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. From Chicago State to Harvard. At 19, he fathered the economics in his family house. DA served in President Obama administration at the White House. He lived in China for 3.5 years, learning the Chinese economy, the renminbi. To the British pound, black men, let's get this pound. To the European euro, we NBA step into the euro. To the Uganda chilling, black men, let's be empowered by our billing and be willing to learn and understand. Money is just a tool to build unshakable wealth. 7 generations deep that DA will teach that we can compete in an economy beyond that's local. Black men, we must think global. So I present to you David Anderson to put you on this financial